I am not a clinical psychologist. I studied to become a medical doctor. So most of what I'm doing here in this channel is not based on clinical research when it comes to Islam. It's actually based on my own life and experience in a very radicalized and extremist society and culture. Because I keep getting asked, how is it that Islam brainwashes women so much? When you see people like Linda Sarsour promoting oppression guards and an ideology that openly and severely subjugates women, and in its law views women as half of the value of a man. When you see charlatans like Linda Sarsour promoting oppression guards, while real women with actual souls are being persecuted in countries like Iran and Saudi Arabia for not wanting to wear hijab, and they get up to 20 years imprisonment when they take it off. It's hard for people in the West who have been living in secular Western societies to understand how Islam works. There is no just one way any one person can become brainwashed into this ideology. Rather, it seems to be a magnitude of circumstances as well as factors that allow this to happen, and it can happen to anyone. I'm going to be attaching some links that I'm hoping will help people understand how it is women end up gravitating and becoming in the grasps of groups like ISIS. Most women go there and join them out of their own free will. And unlike what you hear on mainstream media, they are not lured, nor are they coerced. This is a choice that is made by them, because usually it is made after they encounter extreme personal circumstances like a crisis, a personal crisis, as well as socio-economic and political grievances that lead them to do this. And once they embark on this soul-searching journey and they find ISIS and they join ISIS, it's usually emotional factors like the feeling of acceptance, like the false pretense and the very fake female empowerment that is presented to them by Islamists or by Islam, which does not exist. On top of this, the thing that people need to understand is that female subordination in terrorist organizations is not absolute. In fact, a lot of these women negotiate their roles within the organization after they join.
And that is what our government is doing with this funding, with these $23 million that will go a long way towards helping organizations like the Boys and Girls Club of Peel that provide so much support to vulnerable youth within my riding and across Peel and Brampton. And CCM that does a lot of data collecting on hate crimes and really pushing that advocacy needle forward within our country. Or like Islamic Relief that does not only work within Canada, across the world in really removing.
In fact, it's advised that counterterrorism agencies should abandon their binary view that women are either brainwashed subjects in these organizations or that they are simply terrorist provocators, but to rather try to understand the gendered nuances of radicalization in order to formulate suitable preventative measures. Add to this, growing up under Islam, there are factors like indoctrination, as well as Stockholm Syndrome, which you will also find attached, because there's a good example in the hostage situation that happened in Iran in the late 70s and early 80s. Add to all of this that Islam, in its teachings, allows all types of methods of deception, like taqiyya, like kitman, and like tawliya to happen as an essential and an integral part of war. So tell me now, how do we believe women like Linda Sarsour when she is campaigning to believe women, when the ideology that she is promoting not only views the words of women, but their entire status as half of that of a man?
Is a slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. The result you can see. Most of the people who graduated in the 60s, dropouts or half-baked intellectuals, are now occupying the positions of power in the government, civil service, business, mass media, educational system. You are stuck with them. You cannot get rid of them. They are contaminated. They are programmed to think and react to certain stimuli in a certain pattern. You cannot change their mind, even if you expose them to authentic information, even if you prove that white is white and black is black, you still cannot change the basic perception and the logic of behavior. In other words, these people, the process of demoralization is complete and irreversible. To get rid of